First, giving all praises and honor to my Father, Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. All praises due. Shalom to my rod of iron and Israelite family. My name is Mahir Malika, and welcome to the Aquath channel, Daughters with Daggers, where we continuously seek edification from the truth of the scriptures. Sisters, today I wanted to, it's been placed on my heart and provided to me to talk to you guys about healing. The other day, we were sharing with some of my Aqua sisters some of our traumatic experience from our youth and things that we endured throughout our lives that some of us might not have healed from yet. Some of us still can't understand it. And some of us is allowing it to block and hinder us from growing. Okay. So in that moment when we were sharing, you can feel freedom. You can feel that we were able to release. We were able to we were no longer victims, we were victors in that moment, right? So today it made me want to talk to you guys about healing. Healing these past scars, healing these wounds that we face because of those traumatic experiences. So some of us have experienced, whether it was trials, whether it was trauma, well, it was any kind of pain in our life, whether, our dad wasn't there or we saw abuse with our parents, our fathers abusing our moms or lack of fathers being there or even mothers. We see now that sometimes some grandmothers are raising their children or other family members. So that caused a lot of pain in our lives. So we have been living with it for some time, So we have learned to deal with it. Some of us learned to just push through it. And some of us had turned to other things like drugs, alcohol, being promiscuous, turning to people that we know we shouldn't turn to. But it was something put in place for us to numb the pain that we were experiencing. It was easy to do those things because in our mind it helped us forget, which in actuality didn't help us forget. It just kind of placed it on hold until we can remember again. So this world is not perfect. Our parents are not perfect. Our families are not perfect. And we know that. And that's why this world is and where it's at right now. And that's why this world is going to be turned right back over to us, the rightful owners of it. Right. So when we're dealing with healing, when we're dealing with pain and we're dealing with hurt, we tend to lash out at those that are closest to us. It's easy to lash out to someone that loves you, whether it be your husband, whether it be your wife, whether it be, someone that your sister, your brother, someone that you love the most. We start to lash because we know what? We start to feel that we don't know love. Like we don't know how to show it. We don't know how to receive it. And we also don't know how to, live in that moment because we feel like we're not worthy of it or because someone stripped us of it that we don't trust it. Okay. So, today we're going to heal, and we're going to heal through our Father, Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai's word. We're going to heal by his word and by his love. Okay. So without healing and forgiveness of other people's mistakes, it will affect our future. It will hinder us from growing. It will hinder us from reaching our potential. It will hinder us from, being great that we are. It'll stop us. And it's because we start to live and become the victim and living in the people that are making us their victims in their light. Okay. Or I say their darkness, not their light. Without the inner working of our Father's word, we will continue to suffer from the sins of others. Okay, so we're going to allow the Most High's word to fill us with strength and courage to open our hearts and let him provide us healing today. Okay, so let's go to the 147 number of Psalms, verse 3. The 147 number of Psalms, verse 3 reads, He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. So I read it again. He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. The Most High is a healer. He restores broken hearts, confused and clogged up minds. I know there are times my mind reverts to some of the traumatic experience that I went through, and my mind gets cluttered. It gets clogged up with all those negative things. And I call on him. I just get into his word, and I just start shouting his name. And guess what? Those thoughts, those things, because they get removed. They take away. He takes it away. He is true and trustworthy, and he's perfect and he's pure. He promises to heal the brokenhearted and bind up our wounds. So our wounds are our scars. It's what we, wind up with, our cuts. We need to just trust in his love and rest in his word. So let's go to Isaiah 41, chapter 41, verse 10. Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10, and it reads, Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. We have to start acknowledging and being honest with ourselves and free ourselves of our fears. Okay, because of the things that we experience, we're embarrassed by it. We worry about what people are going to say about it, or we fear it getting out. Families, back in the day, they hid everything. Uncles was messing with the nieces. It's just grown people was messing with the children, molesting them, doing all kind of things. All kind of crazy things were happening. And because they didn't want the secret out. We don't tell our business. And, because we don't tell our business, a lot of people have wound up with these wounds. A lot of people mentally are disturbed. A lot of people turn to doing the same things because they thought that was the right thing to do. And you have to sit there and watch this person who violated you throughout your life growing up like nothing happened, and that's not okay. And we live with that fear. We need to let that fear go. We need to stop being victims because that fear traps us and we continue to stay victimized. We continue to live that stuff over and over again. You may be worrying about how people respond, how they're going to treat you. But like I said, we're victors, we're not victims. Maybe it was someone that raped you, molested you, abused you, belittled you, cast you aside. I've seen family members cast a person aside when they knew that the uncle did it, but they were upset because you said something about it. And it's like, wow, I'm cast aside because I told. That hurt. We worry and we fear that those vicious cycles will continue with our children. We don't want that to continue on. And the only way to connect for that to not to continue on is to share the word of our Father and also encourage our children and stop, to let them know when something's not okay. So our Father knew we were going to struggle with fears. So he made sure that he wrote about it often in his word. He cares about our every fear that we face. He is not disappointed in us when we have fears. So don't get that in your head. He's not disappointed in you because you have fears. He's not. The Most High encourages us not to fear, so that we will trust in his presence and know he is listening and writing and working it out on our behalf. Okay. So we need to trust the process. He is listening and he knows what's happening. Okay. And he's there working it out for us. Okay. So let's go to Lamentations chapter 3, verses 21 through 23. That's Lamentations, chapter 3, verses 21 through 23. And it reads, I'm on verse 21. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. Verse 22, it is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. In verse 23, they are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. It is because of the Most High's mercies that we will not be consumed. Because of our Father's compassion, he will not fail us. He will not fail us. Okay? He has pity on us and provides us his mercies, which are given to us each day. So each day we wake up, we get brand new mercies. Okay? Each day we open our eyes and we see that sunlight. That's a brand new mercy. That's a brand new day. So let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. First Peter chapter 5, verse 7, and it reads, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Okay. So Peter writes in this Salak writes in this passage that we should take our fears and we should cast it. We should throw it onto our Father. He'll deal with it. Okay. A lot of people think that they're getting away with things, whether, like I said, there's someone that molested you or things like that. They think that because no one says anything that nothing is going to happen to them. But they will be judged for that. If they haven't not faced it yet, it's coming. Rest assured, be assured that. Our anxieties, pain and hurt, everything that worries us and is keeping us from moving forward, we need to give it to the Most High. So whatever is holding you back, whatever you're dealing with, whatever pain, trauma, whatever hurt you're dealing with, we need to give it to our Father because he deeply cares for us. Okay. So let me share a story. I was 16 years old and I was raped. The security guard, I had my first job, and the security guard was waiting for me in the restroom. Now, because of my relationship with my dad, he was with my mom. They've been together. I lost my mom, unfortunately, in July 20th of last year, or year before last, I believe. And my dad was, always call him a little tyrant, because he was very abusive to us and my mom. And so when this happened to me, I was so scared to tell him because I was afraid what he would do to me, which was scary because it's like, man, I should be able to tell my dad that some man violated me and took my innocence away from me. So during that time, some things transpired, and it was a moment of, I didn't know anything. Of course, I didn't know anything about the Most High or any of that at that time because no one told me. I wasn't in the truth. I didn't know anything about it. I always saw my grandmother. Of course, she was the one who he do it, or would he do it, person. So during that time, I became pregnant. And just want to be open and honest. I was pregnant and didn't know it because, like I said, it was my innocence. I had no idea what was happening to me. And my parents took me down to this clinic when I was 16 and made me get an abortion. Now, of course, so now I was violated already by this man. Now I'm being violated by this clinic. Okay. So after that process, my dad started calling me all kinds of names. I was a bitch. I was a hoe, because he saw now that his daughter was, touched and tainted. And the problem was, it was like, okay, I'm all this, but this guy took this from me. So his anger turned on me. So I didn't know how to deal with any of those things. So at the time I tried to, commit suicide. I tried to do that. And didn't realize that there was a purpose or anything because nothing happened when I tried it. I took some pills, did nothing happen. I woke up fine, everything was okay. And that's to say and share, at that time he was looking out for me then. Even though I didn't know him, he knew me. Okay? I didn't know him because no one told me about him, but he knew me, because I know to this day he's the one that kept me because I had a purpose, right? So, if he was working things out for me then and me not knowing him, okay, and the same for you, you not knowing him, but he was working those things out for you. He kept me. I could have died. He didn't let that happen. We should have total confidence in him now that we know him. That's why I have complete, utter confidence in him. Because thinking about then, I wouldn't be here. Like, he could have easily said, you know what, go. He could have easily taken me or let it happen, and he didn't. Because he knew that I would be here today sharing with my sisters and my family, my Israelite family. It does not exempt us from hardship, okay? Because of him being our father doesn't mean that we're not going to go through things, okay? Hardship builds our character. Just because we know him does not exempt us from trouble. The things that we went through in our past, the struggles, the hurt, all the, like I said, for me being raped, and then my father, the man who's supposed to be the first man that I fall in love with, the way that he acted and the way he was, it was devastating, and it affected me. It affected my relationships. It affected me, my self-esteem and my confidence during that time. But then I had to realize that was him. It wasn't me. My father had me here for a reason, especially now that I'm in the truth and I know who I am and I know the reason why he did what he did. Okay. It makes my heart swell. So try not to cry right now. So let's go to the 91 number of Psalms, 91 number of Psalms, verse 4 through 6. So 91 number of Psalms, verse 4, and it reads, He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Verse 5, Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day. And verse 6, Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. The Most High will protect us, okay, like he did for me then when I tried to, take my life. He covered me. He protected me. He took me under his wing. I didn't know him, but he knew me, and he did that for me. We can nestle under him. We can nestle close to him for his comfort and safety. He shields us from threats we face and even the emotional turmoil events of our lives that we go through. Okay. Our Father's wings are both for healing us and hiding us, for caring and securing us. We have to stop running around wondering how we are going to make it when we are faced with our hurt, our harm, our need of healing. Our Father is there. His word is here. Okay. He says that he's there to heal us. We're about to take over. We're about to get in our rightful places. We're about to enjoy our lives. Our curses are about to be broken. Instead, my sisters, we can run straight under the protective cover of the Most High. Our Father is there to protect us. Yes, we endured some things. Yes, we've experienced some things that could have destroyed us. It could have took us out of here. It could have took us away from the time, from us not even knowing who we are, you know? However, because of he protected us and he kept us to this moment so we can find out who we are, find out who he is, learn the truth about ourselves so that now when it's our time, we're prepared. That's love. Because he could have allowed me not to be here and I wouldn't have known who he was. But because he kept me in this time, I'm able to acknowledge him and I'm able to know that I'm an Israelite princess. Okay. So trauma is painful and it is prevalent in some of us today. I share some experiences, some of the trauma that I experienced. It is there. The Most High told his disciples that because of what the world is, we will unfortunately face those trials. So let's go to a precept. John chapter 16, verse 33. So what we're going to do is read, John chapter 16, verse 33. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace in the world. Ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And then we see that is in red. That's our Father Yahushua. That's him talking. He's speaking. We are facing our curses in this world. However, the Most High promises us freedom from the trauma and hurt we may face today, yesterday, and today. Though there is sorrow and grieving today, his mercies are new each morning. Okay. The Most High brings healing, not just to the physical body, but even to the mind and our soul. He gets all that cluttered stuff out of there. He gets all those things saying that we're not worthy. It's our fault. It's your fault that, he touched you. It's your fault that you were raped. It's your fault that this grown-up perceived you to be attractive. It's your fault that your dad left or your mom left, or it's your fault that they chose to choose drugs over you. That's the things that get in your mind and to make you think that you're not worthy and it's your fault. Stop taking on other people's stuff. It's not your fault. Okay? That's their fault. And they're going to be judged for that. Okay? It's not your doing. Stop grabbing hold of what other people's stuff is, because they're not accountable. They throw that on you. It's easy. Don't take it in. It's time to let that stuff go. It's time to release it. Okay? And we're doing that today. Okay? So, he delivers us out of our brokenness and makes us whole through his word. It's time for us to be whole. Okay, it's time for us to release those demons, release those things that are binding us and holding us back. Okay, my beautiful sisters, it's not your fault. Okay, it's not your fault, and don't receive that blame of someone else. Okay, I know also some brothers may have experienced some things. I have a brother and I've known that some things he's experienced, and most men don't like to talk about it, which is understandable because they feel that that makes them less than a man, and that's not so. You also need to release. Okay, I'm talking to my Aqua sisters, but I know some of you are on here, so I just want to say that to you, to my brothers. I love you as my brothers, and I want you guys to understand that you guys too, it's time for you guys to heal and release also. You guys deserve to be loved. You guys are beautiful. Some of us deal with the trauma of the world saying that we're not. Our family members, we're not small enough. We're not, our hair is not the longest. We might, we even went through the thing where people felt like, oh, you look at our skin tones. We're beautiful. It doesn't matter what your skin tone is. Just life beating us up. it's hurtful. You know, all of us, we say, man, when we gonna get out of this? We ready. But in the process and in the meantime, it's time for you to let that stuff go. Okay. So my Israelite sisters and brothers, I love you guys with my whole heart. Let's absorb this message, meditate on it, and practice it. Let's heal. It's time. It is the only way that we can transition and transcend. I love you again, family. Shalom. Until next time.